Anyway, getting back to these, the Rod Wood situation. It's not a Rod Wood situation. It's a Cam Sutton situation.
Yes.
And what the Lions have decided to do. But the revelation was that Rod Wood let people know yesterday, when we found out about Cam Sutton through the social media post, we found out what everybody else did with their social media post. And we knew that Cam was in the building.
Yeah.
Cam was in Allen Park working out in the weight room. So they had some people from the Lions go talk to Cam. And one of the things that they stressed to him was, we'd like you to turn yourself in. But what they didn't do, at least what he didn't indicate what they did, doesn't say anything about the Lions contacting the authorities in Florida to let them know, oh, yeah, by the way, Cam's here. So they didn't follow necessarily, at least they're not telling us whether or not they followed the social media instructions, which were to please contact us at this. And I'm asking the question, and again, there's no judgment here. I think this is this is one of those, cases that you do in high school about the morals and ethics and stuff. And like, if you're presented with this information, do you have an obligation to inform the authorities in Florida that the man they're searching for is in fact right here in Allen Park?
If they believe, and it's still a little if, in my opinion, not a big if, that, he is on the lam, if the Lions believe that he is on the lam, which it seems that they do because they say turn yourself in, they do have a moral obligation to do that. The other thing is, I said yesterday, when it comes to this Cam Sutton situation, I find it incredibly hard to believe that the authorities in Florida didn't reach out to Cam Sutton's current employer, the Detroit Lions, and say, hey, have you guys seen him at all? We're looking for him. Yeah.
And apparently they didn't.
I can't believe that. Well,
here's why. Because, if you're going to believe Rod Wood, and there's no reason not to, Rod Wood in his statement yesterday, or not a statement, but when he was talking with Dan Miller, he said, I found out the same way everybody else found out, through the social media post, which was on like the 20th, almost 2 weeks after that, they had the incident happen. So yeah, again, it's strange all around. I would think that the police in Florida, the first thing they're doing is find out who we got here. It's Cam Sutton. Was he? Oh, he plays for the Detroit Lions. Well, let's call the Lions. Well,
you've heard of Florida man, maybe maybe Florida police man.
Florida police man is equally strange.
Maybe they were busy, chasing alligators on golf courses or something.
You don't want to chase it.
It does seem really weird.
It seems strange a little bit all around here. But nonetheless, we pose this kind of moral dilemma. Is there a moral dilemma? Or are you fine with the way the Lions handled this situation, which is to tell Cam, hey, we think it'd be in your best interest to turn yourself in. But the Lions don't go ahead and contact the Florida police. Or maybe they did, but they didn't say so. I think it's interesting. Something else Rod Wood said afterwards, that he wants to make, he said, quote, I want to make sure everybody knows that we didn't release him because of anything related to the cap or money that we may owe him. It was the right thing to do for the organization. But we did release him with a post-June 1st designation, which will allow us to deal with whatever the cap implications are over 2 seasons versus 1. And we're going to let the process between us and him and the union play out to determine exactly what happens. But money was not on my mind when we made the decision to release him. They did because it made sense through legally what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So they did that.
Now, if they find out, if we find out that he's innocent, which I doubt it based on his reaction and his disappearance.
Right.
They could always bring him back, but I don't think that's going to happen.
And maybe they got indication when they did speak with him before he took off that was in fact the case. And that's why they were able to release him without really any kind of second thoughts. But it's an ongoing saga that's playing itself out. Just thought it was an interesting little, moral dilemma, ethical dilemma playing out here. And what would you do? Because it's a tight spot.
Yeah. I
mean, you could see wanting to be loyal to a player, wanting to do the right thing legally. And I think that they kind of, they kind of did a little bit of both when it related to Cam Sutton. Mm-hmm. Like, did they call the cops? Probably not. But what they did was tell Cam what they wanted him to do was to contact the police and turn himself in. And maybe that's the only moral obligation you feel like you have as an organization. I'm guessing there were some attorneys involved that helped make that decision.
I'm not trying to make the analogy of the crime or whatever, but is it like Joe Paterno saying, well, I went to the AD?
I certainly hope it's different.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the Lions. We didn't call the Florida police. We just told him, you take care of it yourself.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying. At least this is coming out right now,
right?
Within days of everybody else finding out about the Cam Sutton situation, as opposed to the Joe Paterno situation, which did not happen just days after.